Hey y'all, this is Jen. I wanted to do a little video blog before we go to BlogHer next week, mostly so that you can use this time to figure out my accent and my southernness, and hopefully by the time we all get to New York, you'll be able to understand what it is I'm saying. I am very excited about BlogHer. This will be my first time, and in case you couldn't tell by your surroundings here on the blog, I'm counting the days. It's like a little gift from heaven that it turned out to be in New York this year. I used to live in New York, as you know from reading the blog, and one of my best friends, Kitty, still lives there. Her name's actually Jen, but there's two of us named Jen, and it just gets confusing, so I call her Kitty. Anyway, she is a lot of the reason that I'm able to go this year because she has very kindly offered to let me crash at her apartment, which is in the same neighborhood in Queens where we used to live when Marcus and I lived in New York. So I'm looking very forward to some good quality time with Kitty and her cat, whose name is Puddin' Pop. He's very cute. Sometimes he wears a tie. So I'll be taking the train in every day, commuting to the conference from Queens. So if you see me dragging a suitcase around with me, that's why. I need a way to take everything to and from whatever. Anyway, I'm very excited. I arrive on Thursday morning at about 10:30. I took the very first flight out of here. It leaves heavy early, but it'll be worth it. I'll look tired like I do now. I'm going to go and have lunch with Kitty, drop my stuff off, and then probably head on to the Hilton probably around 1, go to registration, maybe stalk people in the lobby for the afternoon because there's so many people that I want to meet. And then that evening I'm going to be going to the Martha Stewart party. I have no idea why I got invited to the Martha Stewart party, but it did. So, I mean, I have to go. If nothing else, the food and the decorations will be gorgeous. So I'll be sure to take a lot of pictures to share and tell you all about the deliciousness. The one blog friend that I've had the pleasure of meeting in real life, Elena from dirtandnoise.com, is actually going to be going to the Martha Stewart party as well. So I'm hoping that maybe she and I can cab over together, and I'm really excited about seeing her again. She and I met last year when I was on a business trip near the city where she lives in North Carolina, and we had a wonderful dinner together. It was just like we'd known each other for years, and it was just a really cool introduction to how cool it can be to meet your friends from the blogging community in real life. So I'm looking really forward to some of that this weekend. Friday morning we start up with a newbie breakfast. I'm definitely going to go to that, meet some other people who are first timers, and then start going to some of the breakout sessions. The ones I'm really excited about are some of the writing labs. There's one called Stoke Your Creativity that I'm going to do. There's one really good one about loving your small blog, and I'm really excited about that. It's got some very cool speakers, and I'm interested in hearing what they've got to say about nurturing your small blog, because as you know, if you read my blog, I don't necessarily have a niche. I write about parenting, I write about food, I write about my job some, not to the point where I would get fired or anything, but I do write about my work, I guess is what I should say. But it's kind of a hodgepodge, and honestly, I kind of like it that way. I don't really want to be a niche blogger on this particular site. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they've got to say about things like that. And then there's some others that I want to go to. I'm going to visit the expo hall and get myself some swag. Now, I am not going to go overboard on the swag, I promise you. That's been everybody's big advice to me. I cannot promise that I will not come out of the expo hall carrying a bottle of Tide, but there is an exchange where you can take your swag that you don't want and leave it on the table for somebody else to take, which is what I would do with the Tide, mostly because I'm allergic to Tide and it would be stupid to bring that on an airplane. There is a Serenity Suite where you can go and just kick back and relax. There's people hosting it, which I'm really excited about. Some of my favorite bloggers are hosting the Serenity Suite. So if I need some place to just go and be quiet and sit down for a second, that's where I'm going to go. There's all these different themed suites. There's one devoted completely to s'mores. That can't be bad, right? I'm going to kind of just try to take my time and not do too much, but try to see the people that I want to see. I've been sending out my phone number. If I haven't sent it to you and you would like it, let me know. I will be happy to send it to you, and we can text each other and meet up in the lobby for a hug. If anybody wants to go somewhere off the beaten path, let me know. I know lots of little fun nooks and crannies that tourists wouldn't think to go to that locals love to frequent. Mostly, I'm just really excited about being back in the city. This will be my first trip back since we moved to Alabama 2 years ago, and I miss New York a lot. I like my new home, and it was definitely the right thing for us to do to move back home to the South. But unlike any city I've ever lived in before, I think New York really feels like home to me, probably more than any place aside from my parents' house. It really feels like home. It was such a welcoming place. Things happened for me fast, and everything went really well there. My son was born there. Marcus and I got married there. I mean, it was just a really, really special place. So I am looking forward to seeing some old friends and making some new friends. If you're not able to make it to Blog Her this year, I'm so sorry. I'll send you a present, and I wish that you could be there. And thank you all for listening to this. And if you're going to Blog Her, I'll see you next week. Safe travels.